Matt Ball, all bark, big mouth, small mark, talk Xbox like a king, then trip on his own thing. Booty in his focus, head full of bogus. Not a smart man, that's plain. Miss the point, take the blame. He keep talking big, but the facts don't bend. Say it loud, say it proud, still ain't making sense. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Man, keep digging. Keep digging. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. All that talk, no proof. Xbox is doomed. He's sliding loud, no playing, hands on hips. Not a man watching curves, missing signs, reading jokes like warning lines. He want clout, want smoke, but he choke on his own joke. Every flex come off wrong, every win don't last long. He keep talking big, but the facts don't bend. Say it loud, say it proud, still ain't making sense. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Keep digging. Keep digging. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Keep digging. More toast. Xbox is doomed. Look at the grin, look at the mess. Whole room knows he's second best. One more shout, one more flop. When the joke lands, he can't stop. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Keep digging. Keep digging. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. All that talk, no proof. Xbox is doomed. I should walked in clean, room full of green. A few fans around, eyes all locked on me. She flashed that grin, like she knew the game. Held the room so tight, then she said the phrase. Lean in close, let it ring. Made the whole room start to sing. One hand up, other hand down. Everybody froze when she spun around. How about them exclusive? How about them exclusive? Say it loud, make it stick. How about them exclusive? Glaze up the Xbox fans. Glaze up the Xbox fans. Then she put the games on PS5. Put the games on PS5. Hey, 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 hey. Top got hot in a blink of time. Old head smirked and they lost their mind. Asha kept it slick, like a game night queen. One wink, one flex, then she broke the screen. Fans went wild in the little room, every mouth went wide. Got the shape of doom. One hand up, other hand down. Everybody froze when she spun around. How about them exclusive? How about them exclusive? Say it loud, make it stick. How about them exclusive? Glaze up the Xbox fans. Glaze up the Xbox fans. Then she put the games on PS5. 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 Put the games on PS5.
About those exclusives.
Now the chat won't sleep, they replay that scene. Asha said one line and she stole the team. Green room glow, blue box shine. Everybody knows that was her time.
About those exclusives.
How about that exclusive? How about them exclusive? Say it loud, make it stick. How about them exclusive? Glaze up the Xbox fans. Glaze up the Xbox fans. Then she put the games on PS5. Put the games on PS5. How about them exclusive fans? I should have the whole room lit.
About those exclusives.
Well,
Yo, what's up, grinders? How you doing out there? Yes, it's a late night at the gaming Grindhouse, but the fires are burning bright here. I said I was supposed to do a show yesterday, but I was out with the family, so I definitely had postponed today and to the 11th hour, which literally it is the 11th hour. But I send out the signal, let them know we're live. We got to talk about this because I know you've been banging on the door for the last 2 days about this, and I just haven't gotten to my computer to set this up. But this is the time. So this is the show you've been asking for. So hit that like button and let's get ready to cook. Because
How about those exclusives?
how about them exclusives? Oh man, Asha Phil Nest 2.0. It is wild out there, man. I don't even know. And we're going to talk about what has happened with the Xbox console and the GTA 6 pre-orders, and what the hell does this mean for the future of hardware for everybody. The Steam Deck we covered, it is absolutely crazy out there. Who would thought early adopters are the ones that made out so far? It is crazy. Shout out to everybody coming on in here. We got Anonymous Boss. We got MMA Campo says early morning stream for me. There you go. The Global Grindhouse we're talking to. Stephen Leone in the house. What's up? He goes, sup, grinders. We got Neil Augusto. We got Saku. We got Mad Joe. We got Otaku, the PlayStation Nation. He said, what's up? William Aguilar. I saw you tweeting this out. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. He goes, if you think the Steam Machine looks overpriced, underpowered, he goes, with it being below a PS5 in power, just wait until the PS6 comes out next year. Yo, I said I'm not ready for a PS6, dude. Albert Gouchard, Hood Geek, Zero Steel, and the Spick and Span. King Man, what's up? Dude, it is like PlayStation announced some Bungie things, which we'll cover, but we knew Bungie, man, their ass. We knew about that one. Well, but they're gutting Bungie, which is good because they got to clean them up and get them ready for Destiny 3. That's what Sony got to clean them out. But my goodness, I tell you, it is crazy because the Bungie. I'm really not going to talk too much about the Bungie thing because we'll save that to Monday's show. But yeah, the Bungie stuff, we've known that with the not great results of Marathon and Bungie coming in to like peacocking pause, well, showing off, telling everybody how to do service games, and then their own service game is not doing too hot. Yeah, we'll talk about what that. Yeah, it kind of was coming to them, and Sony's just doing the whole takeover right now, probably with them, and going to redirect them. But they got rid of a bunch of people over there. Sad to see them, lose their job and stuff like that. But Bungie is just, they're just not the Bungie of old, and they really came in with a lot of stuff to talk about, and they didn't really deliver on it. Telling people how to make service games, to, really misdirecting people, maybe scaring Naughty Dog into canceling their game and stuff like that. I don't know, man, but Bungie, again, acquisitions suck. I think we've seen everybody, PlayStation's acquisitions, Xbox's acquisitions, Embracer, Tencent, all of them. That whole acquisition stuff has closed studios, more studios down, and lost more franchises than I've ever seen in the last 10 years. It is crazy. I have never seen so many studios just shut down and not even able to even do anything with them. They were just, the biggest news was them being bought, and then you didn't hear from them again until they were closed. The acquisition stuff sucks across all gaming. And, I don't think it really proved any kind of value. I think the real good acquisitions was like Insomniac, and then after that it's really been a shit show with everybody. Microsoft started acquisition season because of the Tencent embraces, and it's a shit show. It's bad. And now it's even worse now with everybody want to be lean, everybody kind of looking for the money, and now the worst part is the hardware. So that's what we're going to get into. But shout out to, as William says, even if the PS6 gets delayed to November, Steam machines will be eclipsed. Yeah, the Steam machine thing is dude. That turned from like a boutique item. It turned into the Steam machine. We talked about it on Monday, but yeah, dude, that Steam machine thing, that turned into something that was considered an entry point for people to get PC into their living room. To now, it's just a boutique item for diehard people that have a Steam library and just live and die by Steam, and they just want to get it in more rooms. That's basically what that turned into. But I think the biggest problem is kind of similar to like where the ROG Ally fell. And this is going to be a very hardware centric podcast tonight. But one of the things is that the Steam Machine now falls into the similar thing with the ROG Ally. The ROG Ally wasn't console enough to say it's a console because of the Xbox app. So for Xbox console owners, it was not the same experience. And for PC owners, it wasn't as powerful enough for people really what they're looking for. That was better than what the Steam Deck was. And the Steam Deck had better performance out of it and more tweaking, and you had to deal with Windows. So like it was kind of in this middle area, right? Steam Machine's in the same thing. It's not powerful enough really for a PC player to go, oh, I want this. This is like having like a 4070 in my living room. It's not. It's weak. And the performance, I think, for people that are really sold on performance as PC elitists, as they say, the lack of power of the Steam Machine and the old tech that's in it does not warrant the price of what it is. Like, you're better off just investing into a PC, a real PC, and not this Steam Machine, old ass hardware for over $1,000 and small ass memory that you got to go now go buy memory, you got to go buy storage, and increase your price even even more than that. It's not even worth it. When we talked about it on Monday, like that price is really a mess. And that benchmark, I know I got a 6600 in one of these mini PCs, a minis forum PC, a 6600 laptop, a GPU that I have it in a thing that I spent $700 for 2-3 years ago. It's a mini arcade machine, and I use it for emulation, and my son actually plays games on it. I use my gaming laptop hooked up to my TV. I got 5080, so I just hooked that up to the TV, and I just route everything through there. But I use that little thing as an arcade box. But yeah, this Steam Machine, this is too much for that. But you're better off building a mini tower, a million PC. But yeah, that's the problem now. It's like it's not powerful enough for PC owners, and for console, like, is it really gonna? It's not gonna pull people away who are buying $600-$700 consoles to go buy 1,000. So it's not even in that price range. Who knows? Maybe the consoles will eventually get there. I don't know, man. And yes, I saw that Kingman. Yeah, they backtracked on the 4K claims now. It's not 4K 60. They just put in 4K gaming with FSR. So yeah, it's maybe they had more plans for put some more powerful in there. Listen, dude, I do not even know what the hell where that cost is coming from. That's the craziest part about it, because I told you when that thing was launched, the price, people were like, $500-$600, this will be an entryway competing with consoles, blah blah blah. And then as soon as they increased the price of those old ass Steam Decks, everybody's like, oh, the Steam Machine will be 1,000. And then yeah, it was. But people saw the specs and they saw the price. And what happened is now all of a sudden, like I told you before, when the Steam Machines when the Steam Decks went up in price, I said perspective is going to change. People are going to be like, well, I guess I'll get a Steam Machine instead of a Steam Deck and stuff. Meanwhile, the Steam Deck was like sitting at $600, like $400-$500 for what it was. But they said they weren't going to subsidize this. But yeah, the hardware situation that we're going to talk about, it is a mess. Will PlayStation increase their prices? Maybe. I'm assuming they might. Maybe they do it closer to GTA. But the biggest news is that on June 25th, what's up, Curse Kane? How you doing, man? T-Rock with the 5-member VIP. There you go. Speaking of VIPs, Grinders, you are getting a balcony show coming. All right? I said it's coming. I don't know. I don't want to promise it for tomorrow for the balcony show. I would like to do it tomorrow, to do a balcony show for the VIPs. So, and then we'll do the Gaming Grindhouse on Monday. So I would like to do it. I just hope I could. I just don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. That I probably could do it tomorrow night. So let me know if you want to do a balcony show VIPs. It's definitely coming this week. Pause. It's coming. Where's my buddy? It's coming. So yeah, it's definitely coming this week. There he is.
There you have it. PlayStation.
No, it's not coming to PlayStation.
There you have it. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming out. PlayStation. There you have it. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming out.
It's coming. It's coming. But yeah, it's definitely coming this week. So if you didn't get a VIP yet, hit that $5, get a VIP, and you'll be in the balcony. And we're going to be jamming in the balcony. That is a special members only show where you bring the topics, we do some music, do some behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, to the balcony, we'll be having that party this week. So if you don't have a VIP, definitely renew it, just like T-Rock did. Get your VIPs in the house. So yeah, so what has gone on? We had the GTA pre-orders. I mentioned this on Monday, and the GTA pre-orders showed up on the 25th. All right. I said I'm getting the pre-orders. I did a game community night. So check that out. We did a podcast on the game community night. Got the I'm getting the $100 edition, obviously, of GTA. I'm going to be doing that. But, and then they got the Bungie news, which we'll talk about on Monday. But yeah, the Bungie stuff. And everybody's like, oh, wow. Okay. So Bungie stuff, GTA pre-orders are in. I was counting down the night at 12 o'clock. We had the night on Wednesday night. We counted down. We were live. We wrapped up the Order 1886. I wrapped up the series of Community Game Night, the Order 1886. We did that. And, so that one we did, and we finished the game. And then GTA 6 pre-orders went live. And then, for some reason, Phil Ness Asha decided to make this post. Rooftop show's coming. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. But if I can't get it done tomorrow, I will get it done this week. Either Tuesday night, Wednesday. We'll do something this week coming. But I'm going to try to do it tomorrow night. So get the VIPs in. You're in for a month, so I'll get it in. And I want to make sure we get the people who subscribe, who have memberships this month, to get the VIP show in for them. But yeah, so Xbox is like, hey, you know what? Gears is for pre-order. Well, let's actually, you know what? Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's go to the Grinds News Bite. Let's get this cooking over here. And our next community goal is right here. So we need about 50. Yeah, so our next community game night, we'll set up another series when we hit the next goal there. Shout out to Hood Geek, who's an ultimate grinder. He got all the music coming to Hood Geek. Oh man, I didn't bring my soundboard in. The Grinds board's been sleeping. Hold on, I gotta get my Grinds board in here. Oh man, thank you so much, Hood Geek. Getting that ultimate grinder in there. That is the premium, better than Game Pass edition right there, where you get all the music that the Gaming Grindhouse produces here. There you go. So, yeah, that's right. Everyone's like, oh, shit, he's late. Yeah, I know. I'm doing a late night show, and the late night Grindhouse. Shout out to everybody coming on in here. There you go. So, there you go. So, this is what Xbox decided to do on GTA pre-order day. Yeah, I just started here down under. Yep, we just started. And also a shout out to Hood Geek being an ultimate grinder. There he is. Get him in there. So, Microsoft's like, hey, GTA pre-orders. Let's do this. Let's give an update on our Xbox console prices. Listen, let me tell you something, Grinders. Anybody check on Asha? Did anybody check on Asha? I checked on her. Did you check? Did anybody? All these diehard Asha, we love you, Asha. Did anybody check on her? Remember she was doing quick wins and all this stuff? Guess what, Grinders? She finally tweeted out. She just retweeted the Xbox GTA pre-order post. Nothing, no replies, nothing to the fans. The last thing that Asha posted was the hell and high water. Yeah, that's it. Asha, hell and high water. We need to navigate the business. And I went through this on Monday, how she loved the fans. She was tweeting people out. Oh, here he is. We're going to listen to you. Responding, all this. She stopped. As soon as she came back and posted, we got to look at those realities and that memo. She's been silent, except for reposting the GTA pre-order. That's it. No message. Listen, I was thinking about this earlier today. You think that, as somebody who says return to Xbox would be, wow, GTA, pre-order your GTA Plus. Incredible place to play Gears also. Gears and eat GTA this holiday in October and November. And Call of Duty. She's not even kind of like upselling that.
How about those exclusives?
Right? Woo! You would think that she would kind of always keep bringing back, since she made such a big deal about that exclusive thing with Gears of War, with Gears E-Day, she would kind of like loop that in to pre-order GTA. And remember, this is the only place to play GTA and Gears. She ain't touching that exclusive stuff. She did her little dog and pony show on stage, and she's back to cutting business. She hasn't said anything. Nothing about FanFest, nothing. Zilch, nada. She's been quiet. Right? She's been quiet. And then here you go. And it's Team Xbox now. This is not from Asha and Mabuti. This is from Team Xbox. And I got to update my VIPs with Hood Geek and the other one. Hold on. Let me get in there. Let me get you guys up there. There we go. So on the same day that GTA pre-orders go live, Xbox posts this. They don't step on a rake. They jump on a rake. I don't know why they thought this was a good time to do it, but as of August 1st, they're getting in front of something. This is my take. My take, Grinders, and please hit that like button. Over 100 people in here, a late night emergency Grindhouse. They thought on the same day of GTA pre-orders that let's post this article telling people that on August 1st, why would you do this now? August. Why would you do this now? And look, right before they're all their, how about them exclusives, right? August 1st. Why would you do it on the same day as GTA 6? Pre-orders. I don't understand it. Do you want to know why? They're getting in front of something. And it's that bloodbath we've been talking about, which may begin on Monday. But it is very strange that this time they're telling people that the price increase is coming in August, when the last time they said it was happening that day, which took all the retailers off guard. And the biggest thing we'll get into here is one of probably the biggest news pieces that I don't see a lot of people really honing in on, but it is definitely a warning sign about what's coming. But effective August 1st, they're updating their prices worldwide. The price of Xbox consoles will increase by $100 for the 512 gigabyte model and $150 for the 1 terabyte. Jesus. But this is the wildest. We'll be sunsetting our 2 terabyte model. The words, we have Xbox sunsetting before GTA 6 release. They managed to get that out. They're sunsetting the Strip of Glitter 2 terabyte Aaron Greenberg edition Xbox. It's done. So that means the only 2 terabyte console that's out there is the PS5 Pro. And it puts things in perspective, doesn't it? That the PS5 Pro currently, right now, been having 2 terabytes. And now Xbox is not even going to produce them anymore. Because if Sony said, we're not producing a 2 terabyte console, that will be no more PS5 Pro, because there is no 1 terabyte version of the PS5 Pro. There's only a 2 terabyte version. So the fact that Sony's been able to keep that price below, I guess, $1,000 as of now, which probably may go up to $1,000 by the end of the summer, that unless they come out with a 1 terabyte version, the PS5 Pro is the only 2 terabyte, and Microsoft will not be selling a 2 terabyte console. They are only selling a 512, which is absolutely ludicrous considering they own Call of Duty. See, this is the other crazy thing too. Not to go too far into the tech, but PlayStation had the what was it? Where the gigabyte? Oh, now I forgot what it was called. Somebody in the chat's gonna remind me. But they basically had the one. If you look at Xbox games versus PlayStation games, PlayStation has a special, and you'll remember what it is. I forgot it. It was on tip of my tongue. I forgot what it was. The program where they're able to reduce the size of the files, and their games are much smaller than Xbox games. And Xbox games are just blown up. What's up, El Nini? Yeah, no, Silver Wolf, to increase the prices again. Increase the prices on GTA Day. And PlayStation is able to lower the gigabytes. Xbox has never done that. Their game, the Kraken, thank you. The Kraken was not lacking. I remember it now. Thank you, Puss Ultra. There we go. Bruh from the 5th floor, Kraken. Giotto Kraken, thank you. The Kraken on the PlayStation allows them to make the file sizes smaller of games, which means you can fit more games a game may be like 30 gigabytes on Xbox and may be 20 on PlayStation because of the Kraken method that the PlayStation does. Xbox never did that. So a 512 gigabyte, and you're talking about you own Call of Duty, good luck, because that's probably going to take up more than 1/5 of that whole system. Call of Duty, and if you download the other Warzone and shit, you're looking at probably about half your 512 gigabyte can be done by 170 gigabytes of Call of Duty. It's craziness. So we're going backwards, but they're sunsetting. It's not that they're limiting production. They're sunsetting. It's gone. The 2 terabyte edition is gone. They're backing out slowly. 512 gigabytes. Last October, they increased the price by $20 to $70 in the U.S. We hoped another price increase would not be necessary, and we have spent the last several months working with suppliers on options. Unfortunately, console storage and memory prices have increased more than 2.5, and we expect another doubling in 2027 fall. The customer industry is struggling with the current component crisis and effects that are particularly hard on consoles. Unlike phones, computers, speakers, and other devices, consoles are typically not sold at profit, but instead less than they cost to make. So, why would they put that in there? Why would I need help? Why would they explain this here? Are they crying that consoles are subsidized? Are they crying that consoles, the model of the console? Because that sounds like somebody crying about the console business. You sell your consoles at a subsidy because you want people to buy from your store and you make it up on the subscriptions and gaming. But we've seen that their gaming and services have been down. But it's very interesting that they try to highlight this subsidized model. See, the problem that Microsoft ran into, and this is what I believe has happened. And scot-free, which interesting, is that by now you would think they would at least make some money on the console, considering we are 6 years into the generation. Obviously, there's an upfront cost and loss that they make in the beginning of the generation because it's new tech. But as the generation goes on, you tend to try to make that money back. And that's the point. That's the point, Scott-Free. This is what I wanted to bring up about where I think the issue is with Xbox. Microsoft and Xbox were trying to pull out of this friggin' console business. When PlayStation was ramping up and selling all their consoles with the chip shortages, they still powered through and were able to go crazy selling PlayStations and manufacturing PlayStations because Sony is a hardware company. And they got about 100 million. By the end of this year, they'll probably get 100 million consoles. Even though they are selling less consoles now because of the price increase, they are still sitting on a bed of 97 million consoles that they've been building towards for the last 6 years. Therefore, Sony definitely has a buffer and a cushion they have a huge install base sitting out there. So whether they have low months moving forward and probably blow up with GTA 6, I think regardless of the prices, GTA 6 is going to move consoles, all right? Whatever the consoles are. People will buy it just to play GTA 6. I think, people should buy it now. They should have bought it already, but people will wait. And they will pay whatever it is to play GTA 6. So, but Sony's already has a platform. They already have like 90-something million consoles because all 6 years they were pumping out hardware to sell. What has Xbox done in the last 5 years? Since this Xbox, first off, they launched the X with no exclusives, with no games. Halo wasn't even around. And then after Halo released, it was always about no console required. Everything is an Xbox. Play on PC. Play on phones, play on a MetaQuest. You don't need to buy the console. We have had podcast upon podcast scratching our heads going, what the hell are they doing? What is the purpose? Why stay in the Xbox business when you don't even want to sell a console? So they've spent the last 4 or 5 years telling you not to buy a console. And at the same time, they weren't manufacturing them. We looked at stores. Stores didn't have them stocked a lot. They weren't manufactured in bulk. Then the tariffs hit and they try to relocate. But meanwhile, stores across the globe have been like lessening their storefronts on Xbox hardware. People taking videos in Europe and this going, there's no Xbox section. There's no more hardware. There's no more software. We had this question last year before this memory craze. We had this whole thing last year when it was tariffs. But when Dusty Bin had a call Target, remember?
Call Target for that one.
He's like, it's fine.
Console in October 19. He checks stores on Thanksgiving.
Dusty Bin
not
calling.
staying at home. And now Xbox got beaten by the next playground, a Goo Goo Gadget toy. What are we doing here? Dusty Bin. Dusty Bin.
Remember, Dusty Bin was calling Targets. Because people are like, hey, there's no Xboxes in the stores. Look at my store. Look at my store. And Dusty Bin's like, I got to go in detective mode. I got to call Target. And they said they're getting one Xbox on October 19th. And he's like, it's okay. It's fake news. Like, Dusty, where are the consoles? Because the internet was like, Xbox is pulling out. They're out. They're out. And this has been the lead up. So now you come to this point. And now Xbox is like, back to Xbox. Asha's coming back in going, back to Xbox.
How about those exclusives?
For what? Exclusives to move what? In August, you're going to increase the prices. You think that Gears is going to buy, you're going to buy Xboxes? Like, I don't understand what their plan is. But the problem is, it's too late. Microsoft's like, well, we want to make Xboxes and try to get people to get on Xbox. They don't. And even if they wanted to, they were not getting. See, this whole thing, we've reached out to our suppliers. They have not been building stuff with their suppliers because they really haven't been building Xboxes, the console. Because for the last 5 years, they've been telling everybody, don't buy a console. Xbox is everything. It's everywhere. So they will be backing out. This is Asha, the pullout game. That's what this is. And you're telling me the company who led the AI microchip RAM shortage themselves with Copilot. The reason why our RAM is not found because AI servers are buying them up. Did not foresee that was counter to their business.
You're my number one customer.
Making a console. Hey, there's going to be a lot of server farms trying to power up Copilot. Why don't we start buying some more of this RAM? Because they're going to start building up the servers to power this AI stuff. Microsoft, of all companies, had a foreseeable insight into what the situation would be with RAM and storage because they were the ones leading the AI narrative. It wasn't Nintendo. It wasn't Sony. They were at the mercy of their suppliers. Microsoft was building servers, working with OpenAI, partnering. They were in the AI conversation. They caused this RAM and storage crisis that we're in now. Satya and his co-pilot and his partnerships and their billions of investments, all that AI stuff was driven by Microsoft. How is the one that Microsoft now is caught with their pants down going, we weren't expecting this? I mean, you weren't expecting this. You caused this. And you didn't foresee. Hey guys, you know what? We buy RAM and stuff too for our Xbox. We may want to buy some because it's going to be tough. They spent themselves out of business. Or, as Jenna Hayes says, they did it on purpose. This is all part of the Phil Ness Asha plan to sunset Xbox. We already got one sunsetting of a model, and I wouldn't be surprised if we hear more sunsets, because it sounds like, especially given the timing of this news, it sounds like they got every excuse in the book to just go, guys, Xbox is PC, and
How about those exclusives?
Because I just think we're not even a year away from we are sunsetting the Xbox consoles, because they're already alluding to 2027 is going to be continued, and they are in no position right now to ramp up and saturate the market for Xbox consoles. And their next console, and even with the PS6, Sony can release the PS6. And we'll talk about what this means for future hardware, but they could release the PS6. But the thing is that Sony is not going to be, I don't think they'd be in a rush, because they got a 90 million, maybe 100 million by the end of this year install base of consoles. They got a good cushion of buyers, people that buy games and they can make money on their software. Sony's not in a rush to saturate the market. They're already saturated. Xbox is the one that's floundering around at 27, 30 million or whatever. They don't have enough install base to garner developer focus, to buy games for exclusivity, to attract customers to their brand, because they don't have a strong enough install base with the consoles. So I think we're just going to keep seeing sunsetting. And the fact of them sunsetting their most premier console shows that they're going backwards. They're not trying to move the needle forward. They are saying, no, 512 will be your standard. A 512 console in 2026. They're getting rid of their sunsetting. They're not slowing production. Not saying, hey, the 2 terabytes going to be limited. We're going to slow the production of the 2 terabyte special edition Series X. You know, we're going to slow. It's gone. They're not manufacturing it anymore. Game Night with the 5, he goes, for comparison, it took Sony 8 months to stop subsidizing the original PS5 disc drive model. The digital took even longer. Yeah, exactly, because they strategize their hardware because they always considered the hardware important. Game Night. See, that's the whole point I'm trying to get at, was that Xbox deprioritized their hardware for the last half decade, and now they are caught with their pants down with now the console's even more expensive than it was when they hated it, and they've always hated it. They don't want it. And now it just seems like and for them to announce something to shit on the GTA pre-order parade, I really think that they are basically prepping people for what their next vision is. And I was even thinking, well, we'll talk about when I get into what the next set of hardware would be. But I just think it's very interesting. Like, unlike phones, computers, they make computers. Consoles are not sold at a profit. I just think that's a very strange thing to say 6 years into your console about the subsidizing about it. What's up, Thrifty? How you doing, man? And then here you go. Look what they're doing now. And Asha alluded to this. She already was planting seeds in her interviews about this whole buy now, pay later, other ways of gaming is expensive. Just remember, Asha didn't even know an Xbox existed when Satya gave her the job. She didn't even know. She didn't even know what this was. It turns out there's billions of people that play games. She's like, that was a discovery for her. She had no clue that that we even existed, that gaming even existed. That was how crazy it is. When she did her interview and she basically said, like, Satya told her, and then she's like, it turns out that there's like billions of people that play games. And I just look at it as a form of entertainment. And they keep calling gaming as entertainment, as a way of looping in movies and TVs. That's their value. Not to make games. What's up, Lunchi? Lunchi's like, where's the show? Oh, here's the show, Lunchi. Not about games and no, it's an entertainment to do something else. Make a movie. Make a TV show. And Satya coming out saying, we need to monetize now. That's where that sentence comes from, T-Rock. Exactly. That's a Satya sentence right here. We're done subsidizing this Xbox. So we're back to this. Now, if you remember, Xbox All Access existed since the end of the Xbox One. It was through a credit card company. You would buy the Xbox One, or you buy an Xbox Series consoles with the All Access credit card. Was partnered with some credit card company. And you would get 2 years to pay off your Xbox. Now, the caveat was that your Xbox would have to come with 2 years of Game Pass. That's right. You would have to buy an Xbox with Game Pass bundled in it for 2 years. You remember the All Access program? And it came with 2 years of Game Pass.
Oh, and Psychonauts 2. New games are coming fast. 12 minutes and 80s. And they're all on Game Pass. Somerville, a Plague Tale Requiem. What to play first and what to play last. Star Match 2, Ground, Truman Doom.
Remember.
'Cause they're all on Game
So we're doing it again. Remember? Grinding. How many times? The Xbox Matrix. We are sitting there in the room with all the TVs around us. We're sitting there with the white suit on, the man in the chair. And we're like, Asha, you tried this before, the Xbox Matrix, and you failed. Xbox All Access existed. You had a payment plan to the barriers of a console. We've heard this before, the barriers of the cost of a console. So you're not telling us anything new. The Xbox Matrix. Forgo. You always fail. Xbox Zion always falls. You go throughout the left door, you go out to the right door. And here are all the things. Here are all the TV screens of all your decisions. You've done this before, and it failed. And we're back doing it again. Pay now, pay later. It doesn't matter when you pay. Nobody wants to pay. Nobody wants to buy your stuff. Because the problem is not how to buy, where to buy, who to buy, how to buy, where to buy. It's just about the quality games that you make. Remember the barriers, Roberto? Man, they're talking to us now about the Xbox. Oh, interest-free financing, previous played consoles, trade-ins, working with... What? We've been hearing... That was the whole don't buy an Xbox. The console itself was a barrier. Feels like, oh, you know, not a lot of people want to buy a $500, $600 box. You know,
I mean,
it's a barrier.
I'd have to go back and
it was a
look at
barrier. Buying games was a barrier. Oh, we got to make games accessible to everyone because the $60, $70, that's a barrier. Microsoft made buying something bad. You felt dirty. Like, oh, if you want to buy something, oh man, that's dirty. That's dirty. We got to give it to you for free. And Satya let them do this. And they spent themselves out of business. Now Satya's like, yo, no more free shit. We got to make our money back. They've been making more money on YouTube with our shit than we are. Satya dropping bombs. He's like, I'm done. But feels like barriers, though. So they came up with this program, Xbox All Access, a financing program that bundled your Series X and S and 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate for a single monthly price. And we've calculated here in the Gaming Grindhouse. You're almost paying the same price of the console at the time. You're paying, it was $300 for the band. With the Series S, it was like $300 for the Series S. And then on Game Pass, it was like $280 of Game Pass on top of it. And you had to buy it with Game Pass. It had to come with 2 years of Game Pass. You cannot just subsidize just the console. And at the time, I said, hey, if you just want to buy the console, go get a Best Buy credit card. Go get a no-interest financing card and just buy the console. Don't do this shit because they're forcing you into 2 years of Game Pass where you could buy just increments of Game Pass, jump on and jump off. They're locking you into 2 years of Game Pass at the time. That was another like $300. Hell, now at this price, they can't even do that now. But it was a scam. And this was a scam. It was around $35 a month for an X and an S. And they even gave you the upgrade around 18 months. You could upgrade. Like if you had an S, you could upgrade to an X. You could go from $24.99 to $34.99 and give back your S and you get an X. And it was through Citizens Pay. Best Buy had it. Walmart had it. Target, GameStop. You can pay off the amount of a loan for Xbox. That's what this is. So we did this already. It was introduced. Look. See? We did this already, Asha. I got deja vu. Buy now, pay later. We did this already in 2018. August 27, 2018, we did this already. You already talked about barriers. We already did this. Jay Orta, member of 4 months. He goes, Satya saw Gabe buy a $70 million mansion in his yacht and sold. He said, hold my beer. That's right. Jay Orta, member of 4 months. Let me get him in there. 55. 355 we at of VIPs for the balcony party. Yeah. We did this already. Well, let's do it again. So let's do the 2026 edition of the 2018 Buy Now, Pay Later. We made it easier for players to use Buy Now, Pay Later on eligible Xbox hardware purchases through Microsoft stores. Wow. All Access, I just showed you, was in all the stores. Now they're just in Microsoft stores, making it possible to break up your payment and into predictable short-term interest-free installments. Interest-free financing. We're working hard with partners to let players purchase eligible Xbox hardware at 0% APR for 12 months. How is this any different than a Best Buy credit card? How is this any different than any other no-interest financing? You could get it at Micro Center. You could get it at Sam Goody. You get all these freaking... Well, every place has a department store. Home Depot just gave me one. I got one Home Depot. I don't know why they're making it like we've done something special here. You done nothing. You did this crap. All Access. We're working with retail partners on new programs to provide previously played consoles at lower prices. Players who are ready to upgrade no longer use their console will be able to trade it in for cash and store credit. Yo. Refurbished console. Yo. This sounds like a fucking Xbox garage sale. Grinders. Here it comes. It's late night, but make sure the kids are not sleeping. Lower your volume. What are we doing here? Just woke up my whole household. Sorry. At the midnight hour. Shout out to the midnight hour. Hit that like button, Grinders. You're in here for the late night Grindhouse. Just woke up the kids. Midnight hour. What are we doing here? This sounds like an Xbox friggin' garage sale. This is some petty-ass bullshit. Let me ask you something, Asha. You really think that people are chopping at the bit to buy your shit. This is like some freeloading the Goodwill Xbox. Goodwill Phil. Where's Goodwill Phil?
I don't know. Like, I'd have to go back and
we'll
look
take
at
trade in your old hardware. We're gonna work with people to trade in stuff. You could get a refurbished console. You could use your credit and get one later on. Like, really? Worry about making quality games to make a demand for people to even want to pull up with this bullshit. Like, stop worrying about this stuff. This is the problem. Stop. Worry. You know what? I know it's midnight. Get him in here. Nah, bullshit. Get him in here. Yeah, I know it's midnight. Get on the microphone. Tell him. Tell Asha. Go ahead. I know it's... Yep, you're allowed to. It's late. You gotta tell him.
Stop. Enough.
All right, go back to sleep, Huggy. Go back to sleep. Go back to the wall. Face the wall. Like, what the hell? Stop worrying about this shit. What is this? If people want an Xbox, they will find a way to get one. Whether they trade in, whether they finance, people will find a way. The problem is gift cards. Exactly. Kingman's gift cards, Best Buy gift card, Amazon gift cards. No one's just financing an Amazon. Why are you worried about this, Xbox, Asha? The problem is you got to get people to a point where they're willing to do something along these lines to do something. That's the problem. You're giving people a you're addressing step 3, but you have yet to address step 1 and 2. People don't want your shit. They don't want your services. They don't want your games. They don't care about your ecosystem. But you're like, hey, is this how to buy an Xbox? Like some Goodwill shit. Refurbished. Asha, there's 5 problems that you got before problem number 6. First, they got to say, I really want to buy an Xbox to play games that are not only that you don't have console exclusive. You don't have any exclusives. All the games are on the devices people already have. You know, that's what's so crazy about this whole thing is that they took away everything as an Xbox, but guess what? Everything fucking still is an Xbox. Surprise!
How about those exclusives?
Yeah! They never brought anything to the console to warrant people doing this shit. That's why I think all this is I think all this is bullshit. This is like a friggin' Broadway show. That's what this is. Oh, we care so much about you. We'll previously played consoles. And what's hilarious, no details at all, right? Nope. No details. We're working with partners. Who? Best Buy? Walmart? Who are you working with? To purchase eligible Xbox hardware for APR financing. Who? And when is this financing going to happen? On August 1st when you increase the prices? What about I want to go finance that shit now? Well, who are you working with? We're working with retail partners. Who? Where's the details? You put this blog post together on your news blog. Who are you working with? I got to go get one now. When are you going to share this information? On October 1st? August 2nd? When the prices increase? I want to do this shit now. We're working with new programs to provide previously played. You mean GameStop? Who? Is Best Buy doing trade-ins? Can I walk into Target tomorrow and say, they said that they're working with retail partners. Are you one of them, Target? Take my Xbox. They're gonna be like, get that shit out of here. Where are the details? Who are you working with? Well, I saw on the blog post they're working with retail partners. Go to Target tomorrow with your Xbox and bring it to customer service and say, I would like cash and store credit for this. I read on the Xbox post they're working with retail partners. Like, why? Like, this is like newfound shit? Who are you working with? certified refurbished consoles available at the Microsoft store for up to $100 off. Asha, we got to talk about the prices. We didn't even see the prices yet. Hold on. It's coming. Where is it?
PlayStation.
Bitches!
There you have it. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming out.
Uh-huh. He shaved off his beard right now. Who's grandma? We didn't even see what these prices are. Wait a second. Up to $100 off. Wait, where is it? Where are my prices? Oh, wait. Yeah, somebody didn't even call that out. Hold on. Here's the Phil Ness. Here. There they are. Look at this. Up to $100 off. Grand opening, grand closing of the 2 terabyte Aaron Greenberg edition. The Samsung. Who are they working with? It's such generic horse shit. Like, it's like, oh, we're doing things. like, oh, we're doing things. Like, you're really not helping. You're just pretending like, yeah, we're doing things. It's all half measures, man. It's all half measures, half steps. That's what it is. Do they really give a shit? No. And like I said, they're going to like, oh, this is how you could buy one. It's like, Asha, your problem number one is getting people interested in your shit to even want to buy one. Like, where that part is missing. Just like Phil would talk about barriers. Dude, you're the barrier. You're not marketing and selling your games right. You do not show your games with FOMO to give people that feeling, I got to get this. You don't create the demand. But you're like, well, this is how you buy it. It's like, I don't care how to buy it. Nobody wants to buy it. Xbox, look at the price of Xbox. The Series S was $300. The Series X was $5. The Series X digital was $445 since 2020. And it went 5 years at that price, and you still couldn't sell them. That's a problem. That's a problem. See, those prices, from 2020 to 2025, Sony been selling them. Nintendo been selling. Then PlayStation been selling. All I would hear is console sales don't matter from Xbox friends. It's about the MAUs. It's about the engagement numbers. It's not about sales. Console sales don't matter anymore. That's old school thought. Yeah. Tell me more about how that was a big problem.
It's not even pink. This is raw.
And Coop has delivered undercooked salmon.
Xboxian Coops. So at those prices for the last 5 years, your console didn't sell. So you could come up with any kind of cockamamie all access since 2018. We had all Xbox all access, and your console still didn't sell in 2018. You had all access existing before the Series consoles, 2018, with the 1X and the 1S, and that continued to the Series consoles. You had this before. And then you continued it through this generation at these prices, and still people didn't buy it. And then you went on also telling people they don't need an Xbox. That's your problem. That's your marketing. You told people they didn't need it when they didn't even want it to begin with, because you are not making the games and showing your games as like, you got to play this here. You didn't do it. And now you're at astronomical prices and thinking what? You come up with we're working with people, you're going to grow. They don't care. And the fact that you're retiring your 2 terabyte console when games are getting bigger and bigger. I like to know the size of GTA 6. And you're sitting out there with a $500 512 gigabyte Series S. That is diabolical. That Series S should have been the thing that had retired next to it. That's what I wanted to see. Series S should have had retired next to it. That's what it should have had. That thing needed to go. They didn't even revise that thing. They didn't even try to make the Series S a little more faster, more RAM, maybe a little boost halfway, like, in 2024, 23, when people were asking. The problem is Microsoft never had a mid-gen refresh. Microsoft never had a new version of their consoles. See, the PlayStation did a whole redesign. They went with a small console with a removable disk drive, a flexible disk drive. They didn't have to have 5 different versions of a PlayStation. They had one digital version, and you could buy the disk drive. Thank you so much, Altoro. Hit that. That's right. Hit that like button, please. And subscribe to the Grindhouse if you're new. This is an emergency podcast for the Xbox price increases. All the prices are out of control. I'm not saying that nobody's immune to this. It's just that those that cared, Anonymous, this is the point. Those that cared about their console space were better prepared for this. And it's crazy how ill-prepared Microsoft was, especially since they were the ones leading the AI and could foresee the issues that would come up with RAM shortages and hardware shortages of SD drives of the hardware. They were leading the AI charge in server farms and Copilot, and they couldn't predict this for their own hardware. They self-sabotaged them. And Nintendo and Sony, yes, they're affected by this too, but you could see even Apple, the people that cared about their hardware, yes, they're bringing the prices up, but you could see that it's not as frequent as Xbox. And they're basically, they have a longer runway. And I don't know, I'm sure Sony's going to hit theirs like they just did. But Xbox, look how many they had. They had it in May 25, October. They have 2 last year. And then they just did one now in August. They're going to do one now in August. And not going up $50. This is the problem. They and you could see, because even when Xbox did its price hike in October, PlayStation still didn't do theirs yet. Because PlayStation had stock. They have supply. They have better relationships. Think about a supplier, right? And you have PlayStation that's like, hey, we need more chips. We need more chips. And you're the supplier. You're like, woo. All right, I'll give you a good deal. You want to buy a million chips? All right, good. Because, yeah, we want to sell 1 million consoles this quarter. All right, sure. Here you go. Chip manufacturer and Sony. Cooking. Here's Xbox and the chip manufacturer. Yeah, you know what? Just make about 10,000. That's all we need. We don't need too many. Microsoft, you want us to only make 10,000 chips? Yeah, that's all we need. We're not really selling. People buying it. Everything's an Xbox. They can play our games everywhere. We really don't need a lot of consoles in stores. And they're not moving a lot of the stores. The retail is not ordering them. Just give us 10,000. That's all right. The supplier's like, all right, here's 10,000. And that's like 3 years ago. And it's like, all right, let's go back to the suppliers. Yeah, give us another 10,000. And meanwhile, Sony's like, yeah, I need another million. I need another million. They're like, Sony, yeah, you're a good customer to us suppliers. We'll supply you. And Microsoft coming in like, yeah. We'll do, and we'll do 5,000 this quarter. We'll do 5,000. Supplier's like, what? 5,000? All right, we're writing a new contract with your ass, Microsoft. The hell out of here. 5,000. Your competitors ordering millions. 5,000. We're charging you more money now because we're only making a few for you. And that's kind of where they're at now. Now they're like going back to suppliers going, okay, well, we'll like to make some more consoles because we're trying to bring Xbox back. Oh, yeah, well. Oh, you decided to come back now? Oh, we won't go back to that 25,000 a quarter. Okay, new rate. And Microsoft's like, oh, shit, we can't afford this. Meanwhile, Sony's like, yeah, we'll take another million. Yeah, because Sony's a repeating customer. Xbox took the eye off the console for the longest time. We've been screaming it. Until Asha showed up all those Xbox guys were loving that. They were loving it. That's the thing that grinds my gears. All the Xbox guys were cheering in the streets. It's not about console sales. Everybody's doing it now.
Streaking! We're going up through the quad to the gymnasium.
Who's streaking?
There's more coming.
Frank, get in the car.
Everybody's doing it. Nobody cares
Now.
about console sales. That's console warring. Boo-hoo. All of a sudden, Asha shows up, and they're like, Asha, we got to sell Xbox again. Please, please, Asha.
How about those exclusives?
Please. Yeah, well, too little, too late. And then Asha comes in there, and she says, you know what? We're gutting everything, because she's the Ashinator. And there you go. And they're getting rid of your 2 terabytes, keeping that 512 around. And these are your new price hikes. So it's going from the S is going up to $100. Diabolical. A 512 going to $500. The Series S that was launched in 2020. No revision. No slim version. No mid-gen refresh pro version of the S. The same old white box glory hole that was sold in November 2020 will now be a whopping $500. Up $200 from its launch price 6 years ago. The same old ass hardware, dusty ass hardware. No new RAM, no new memory, no new slots, no new design, the same glory hole Xbox. That's the problem. This hardware is old as shit. Sony at least made a slim version, a modular version with better air and smaller. And they also made a Pro. Like, Sony has new hardware. Same thing with the Switch, too. It's new. Xbox shopping around with 2020 hardware versions without new refreshes at all, increasing the price on it. Your 1 terabyte one is $600 for an S. Dude, let me tell you something right now, please. Please. If anybody's listening to this show, and I know people are, we got 175 people in here on a late night Saturday at past the midnight hour. We're past the midnight hour here. And those that are listening on the replay, please, for the love of all gaming, do not buy a Series S. Neither one of them. Please, do not buy. You want customer reviews. Do not buy a Series S in 2026. You're better off playing on your phone. Do not buy that thing. Performance modes don't even exist on that thing anymore. Maybe it was a nice little party trick in 2020 when it was taking old-ass Xbox One games and playing them at 60 frames. But since now we're at the current gen and new games have been out for the last 5 years, the Series S is booster. Nobody wants booster. That's exactly what the Series S is. You want to make somebody cry, you give them a Series S. Do not buy it for the den, the living room, the garage. Do not buy one. Do not. Because that thing has not been supported. If you want to go back through the track of time, go look at the last games in the last 2 years and go look at how many modes have been removed from the Series S. That half those games are at 30 frames and performance modes don't even exist. They've dropped it like a hot potato, these devs. You're lucky if you get performance modes that exist on that thing anymore in the last 3 years. In big games. I'm not talking about arcade games. I'm talking about big games. Performance modes are limited. So, and the size, pause. The other thing Microsoft has is that you cannot go buy an SD, a competitive SSD on Amazon. You have to use their proprietary Seagates. Remember that? Yeah, those things, $400. Those things were overpriced before the overpricing started. Actually, you know what? Since we do fact checking on here, let me see the Xbox card expansion. How much are they now? Jeez, I don't even know. These things were $400. Maybe they held their own because they were already overpriced. What is this? Oh, here they are. Holy Yo, the Seagate 1 terabyte. Oh. Yeah, these things were overpriced before the overpricing began. Oh, look at this. $200 for a 1 terabyte proprietary expansion. Oh, snap. Look at this. They don't even sell these anymore. They're like, yo, we can't even sell these other ones. They wanted the 4 terabyte. Put the kids to bed. $550 for a 4 terabyte proprietary. Yo. $300 for a proprietary 2 gigabyte. Oh, dude, these are consoles in a pocket. These things are crazy. This is just memory for the Xbox, the only memory expansion you can do. You can't go to Amazon and go pick out the SSDs that you want, the M.2s, and have them fight some Crucial and all these other ones, and those are astronomical to begin with. But this, when people told us that the proprietary memory was better than PlayStation's decision and just pulling because you had to use screws. Oh my God. I remember the Grindhouse video. Oh my God. You remember? I hope the newcomers to the gaming Grindhouse realize this is the stuff that people were talking about. I hope you realize this. Because there was a PS5. There was a hole. You had to use a screwdriver. It scared everybody. Where's my video? I'm going to show you that. I got to do a plug here. They're like, this is a special that says, my Sony is robbing you. Sony, yo, more diabolical work. M.2. Here it is. A gaming Grindhouse classic. From when? 4 years ago. This was the narrative 4 years ago. They didn't like the PlayStation installation because you had to use a dreaded screwdriver. Grinders.
But I want to thank everybody for 1,000 subscribers.
I had 1,000 subscribers 4 years ago.
Not everybody could get an engineering degree overnight, so I wanted to show this to you. So this is archived in the files that when you get your engineering degree, you're able to do this at home. There's a lot of tools, there's a lot of things going on here, so I just want to make sure that you have everything. So I will be listing everything that you need. You need 2 hands, and the biggest thing that you're probably gonna have to.
Here it comes, Grinders. Let's get an Xbox fans back then.
Hold on.
Uh-oh, here it is. Oh my God.
Beep, beep, beep.
What?
It's this device. Now I chose this device because it's a Stanley product, which is the best of the best in this arsenal of tools here. Notice that it has a really nice rubber grip here, so I could torque the screwdriver. And yeah, this is a screwdriver. They have a whole bunch of other tools, but that's very advanced. We'll just deal with well, this is probably their most advanced tool yet. Not the nails and drills, all that stuff, but this is probably the most complicated one. So I chose this screwdriver because it has the rubber grip that I'm gonna need to when I open up this device, the PlayStation 5, to twist, and you need this grip here to get that. So that's why I chose this product. And Stanley has a warranty on this. So if it doesn't work, I will be sending this back. Also notice that it has a very elongated portion to it here, and then I chose this is what's called a Phillips head. I don't know if I get it for the camera now. This is not to confuse everybody, because there's 2 types. There's a flat head, which it's flat, and then there's this Phillips head, which this is a little bit more advanced. It looks like a cross, and we're going to be
very important.
Just keep that in mind because we're going to need that later. That's a very important tip to know that it has a cross in it. So also too, I do like the blue backing of the screwdriver. That's in case if I'm working with it and it falls, it would easily not break my furniture.
This was very important at the time because the bots were out there saying that you needed a screwdriver to upgrade your PlayStation memory, and you could just use one of those $400 memory cards on the Xbox and just plug it in the back, and they made it like the screwdriver. So I had to do a full review of the screwdriver, of the tool that I was going to use to upgrade the PlayStation.
Because it has the protective thing, and it also has a little lanyard piece, a loop.
This was
for you more advanced people that want to carry
free.
this around with them, because it is a very useful tool. So that is the main thing that I wanted. Then there's another thing that I decided to add is this, and because you want to make sure that you brush it off, make sure it's nice and there's no dust. So we got one of those devices, and then a nice little blower there. So now that we described the tools that we're gonna need, what are the devices? We're using the PS5, 7000 SSD, 1 terabyte. Got it for $200 on Amazon.
Man, the good old days. A 1 terabyte for $200, dude. That was expensive back then. Now they went down, and now they're astronomical.
Cool.
I had that right
so
here.
So now, just on all seriousness here, like the SSD.
Then
there's your.
And then there you go. You open it up.
All right, let's see here. Let's use our screw and pop this up. Oh, let's see. Let's see how we can pop this thing up now. Okay, it looks like.
We're in trouble.
Little things right here. There you go. And pop. And there just is a little piece right here to grab it.
Anyway, yeah. So anyway, back to memory. That was a Grindhouse classic right there. But yeah, I wanted to see how much those cards were. But yeah, they're crazy, those cards. Anyway, well, where was I? Oh yeah, back to the course of the stuff. The good old days. Yeah, that's right. You were in the chat. There you go. 4 years ago. Grind. Hit that like button. The Grindhouse has been cooking for 4 years. There we go. But yeah, it is crazy that proprietary on top of that. So do not buy a Series X S at that size. And that's why I think it's kind of crazy that they're getting rid of the 2 terabyte version, because the only way to upgrade your Xbox is to buy those proprietary memory cards. That's the only way to upgrade your Xbox, is to buy those astronomically priced. Now you can't even buy them if they're out of stock. They're out of stock. You can't upgrade the memory. Whereas the PlayStation uses any M.2 SSD. So, yeah. So that's why I think retiring the 2 terabyte and not just limiting its production, but just getting rid of it entirely is pretty telling as to what their future is of the hardware, of what they're really trying to do. And again, let's get into like the future of stuff, like what's going on. But like, we're looking at this stuff, and this thing, even where was the other thing that came up? Like, yeah, here was Xbox did not have a good thing. Yeah, let's see. Bootleg Jez, console sales in May were the lowest ever recorded. Bootleg Jez said that I got a decent amount of DMs from people who bought Xboxes in April. Yeah, well, bootleg doing bootleg. Bootleg doing the bootleg. Let's see what
minor,
what
but like,
say? Let's hear.
I do think she will announce some minor, but like at least olive branch extending price cut. Maybe $50.
So lucky.
Yoinks.
Hey, Shaggy, grab a bucket and some Lysol. Scrub off my tires. There's fucking dog shit all over by the entrance.
I'm supposed to be picking up scrap.
You'll be picking up your teeth in another second.
Hey, thank you, Compost, man. Thank you. I make sure my quality has to be there. You come in here, Gaming Grindhouse, you get quality. We talk about quality, I got to deliver quality. That's why my audio is cooking. Thank you, Compost. But yeah, like, They thought that Asha was going to give them a olive branch.
Maybe $50. Olive branch extending price cut.
Zoinks. Like zoinks.
Yeah, I don't think so. They really thought that Asha was in there to save them. This is the crazy. I tell you, somebody. I wish I could take all my podcasts and make it a book, because it is crazy. They thought that Asha was gonna save them, and she's just there to clean house. She is there just to clean house. Discontinued the 2 terabyte. Doesn't exist anymore. Increased their console $150. That is crazy. Look at this. The Xbox Series X, it launched at $500, and people still didn't buy it. It will be $800. $800 for the same old 2020 hardware. Not a revision, not a slim version that's better power efficient, not one that could be modulated to add a hard drive, add a disk drive to it, not a Pro that has more memory and PSSR and is ready for the current gen games that are coming out now and ready to run games at better performance and higher fidelity. The same old Xbox Series X that came with Power Your Dreams, with Master Chief on the box, with no Halo game, will be $800. $800. A 60% increase. The Series S 1 terabyte went from $350 in 2020. It will be $600. That one had a price increase of $250. Basically, it was buy one Xbox, pay twice. This is absolutely crazy. And what's crazier is that Asha had the nerve to kind of come back and be like, return to Xbox. That's why I told you, her return to Xbox was not the Xbox you thought. It's not. It's Project Helix. And what Project Helix is going to be, this is. So let's get into, and then, we got a lot of receipts and stuff like that. We'll talk about, I'll jump into some of these things. But one thing I want to talk about is the future stuff. So one of the things that came up was that this rumor here about the PlayStation 6 saying that things are going to get much worse in 2027. I know Lenovo alluded to that. Now the PS6 it was $760 a few months ago. Now it's around $1,000 to make. There's a lot of rumors going saying that these increased costs are affecting the prices of these next gen consoles, right? So this is the thing. There was also that Nishino comment about how they're talking about new ways to play and alluded to a PlayStation handheld. My thing is that this is exactly what I predicted last year. I thought Sony is going to lean more into the handheld for this year, maybe later this year, or maybe something because they could leverage GTA 6 on the go. Maybe that's their talk. I don't know. But like I said,
whatever your name is,
PlayStation handheld.
Get ready for the big surprise.
Thank you, Nathan, for subscribing to the Gaming Grindhouse. Appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button just like Nathan, everybody. But my prediction was that Sony wouldn't talk about PS6 and talk more about a PlayStation handheld, especially leveraging GTA if it could be played on the go, not through streaming, but maybe natively in a low-powered state. I don't know. But Sony would lean more into a PlayStation handheld, Canis, or whatever the hell it is, first, and then run into the PlayStation, and then use that as a segue into the PlayStation 6. My whole thing here is I could really give I don't care about a PlayStation 6. I really do not want a PlayStation 6 right now. I know whenever it comes out, they got to sell me on it. They got to show it, see what it is. Maybe it has some really cool features with the controller and all that other stuff. But then the other concern is going to be if it comes in at a very high price, what is the adoption rate going to be? Are the devs going to support it? Is Sony going to make sure that first party is going to take advantage of it immediately? Or it's going to be like a wait and see because it's not going to have a lot of install base because it's going to be so highly expensive? We're going to have to wait and see. But for my interest right now, as of June, I don't want a PS6. I don't care. A handheld, I may be interested in. Now, if it is a low-powered handheld and they want $1,500 for it, I don't know. If it's a PS Portal with an OLED screen and they want $500 and it just streams, no. If it's a native device that plays PlayStation games and you can take it on the go and it's and it's decently priced, if there is, maybe. But that has more intrigue to me about taking those games on the go than a PS6 right now for me. So really, this PS6 hardware, this talk, it could come out next year. It could come out 2 years from now. I really don't give a shit. That's a whole new sales pitch, and then we got to figure out what the price is going to be and all that other stuff. I'm pretty happy right now with the PS5 Pro and talking about playing the games that I'm playing right now. They look great. They're great. Show me better on the PS6. Show me better features, and then maybe I'm interested. But then we got to see what the price is, and then you got to deal with the price. Is it worth it? We're not going to know that for a while. So for right now, for us to determine if the PS6 is worth it is silly. It's silly talk because we don't know. We don't know its features. We don't know its capabilities. We don't know if it's going to have exclusive games that are not going to be on the PS5. We don't know. We don't know what the leverage and what the sales pitch is going to be. And then we don't know what the cost is. Once we know all that stuff, then we can determine whether it's worth it or not. But for right now, all these reports and shit, I don't know. I have no clue. Am I going to get a PS6? Probably. But I need to do that assessment when they're ready to sell it to us. So for right now, go get a Pro. That's the best thing you can get right now because that's going to run all the games the best for console-wise. Now, for Xbox and Project Helix, we've heard her say that it's a reference device. Project Helix is a reference. Well, it doesn't sound like it's going to be the one and only. And we see how they're retiring the 2 terabyte console. They are backing out of the hardware business. That's the whole plan. That's what Project Helix is. It's an escape plan. Because Microsoft is not in the business right now. They can't grow their install base anymore. They're not bundling the consoles. They're not dropping prices. They're not even trying to promote their consoles. They haven't. They never did. What's up, Liquidator? They never did. So the thing is they're not in the business of trying to saturate the market with consoles. And they were never in the business of saturating the market with Project Helix. My thought and my Grindhouse prediction, Grindadamus, is I think Project Helix is a program. I think there's a reference device, but I think Project Helix is basically the Xbox app on PC and having other developers focus on a specific configuration that utilizes that Xbox app. What makes it launch first on these devices? The Xbox app launches first on these devices. They're pre-configured to launch the Xbox app first, and they run with a certain system on a chip from AMD, and these will be called the Lenovo Xbox, the Legion Xbox, the Xbox Edition, and I think just like they did with the ROG Ally, Asus, the Xbox Edition, Acer, we have the Predator line, Xbox Edition, Xbox Edition, Xbox Edition. And maybe they're allowed to put a button on it or give a little green logo or something like that on there. And they're just going to be like editions, but it's going to be an Xbox first. It's basically going to launch the thing. And I think that's what Project Helix is. I think Project Helix is a configuration, and they're going to have the OEMs absorb it. And Xbox will probably make a reference device, like their own PC box. But that's the way that they get into the market because they cannot build an install base anymore. They just got to leech off the install base they already have with Windows. That's the only thing that makes sense for them to try to grow a marketplace, and that's basically what they are. To grow an ecosystem in marketplace is to become full third party, but leech onto Windows. And as they leech onto Windows, they sunset. What was that word? We're seeing it already. They sunset the Xbox console because that's where they're losing money. That's where it costs them too much money for research and development. It costs them too much money. Like Satya said, we got to make our money. unlike phones and computers. Now, what's funny is that somebody actually countered that whole thing, that statement, because I thought it was a very strange statement to have in there. And this person right here, where is he? Derek Strickland, he says here, consoles can be and are sold at a profit. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. Hit that like button, Grindhouse. Not Xbox. Those profit margins are also being stressed for everyone right now. But Xbox particular hardware production situation isn't the same at Sony's and Nintendo's. That's what I said. Nintendo and PlayStation are production powerhouses with their hardware. Their production hardware was a different approach. They were ordering a lot, building a lot, preparing. Xbox isn't. And now it's too late for them. And now the business, as Matt Booty said, has outspent them. They have outspent themselves. They spent so much money on publishers, $80 billion in publishers. They did not stack up their hardware because they weren't pushing their hardware. Instead, they were saying everything was an Xbox, the phone in your pocket, the PC on your desk, the Samsung TVs and Xbox. You don't, no console required. Since Starfield, no console required. All right, and you're not making them. Dusty Bin had a call up for the one in Target. And now's not the time to start saturating the market, because now that hardware is not only, remember we read what Asha's thing said. They're losing like $200 on a hardware sale. Like, that's why when I spoke about that after hours on Monday with the Gears of War sent out to die, how about them exclusives? You don't want them to buy your hardware because your hardware is losing money. Like, you are losing money on your hardware. You're losing $100 and something. That's why the prices just went up $100 and something, because they were losing that much if somebody bought an Xbox today. And it's going to get worse. So they got to make sure that they don't lose that much money when somebody buys the hardware. So they're increasing the price. But they just said it. They just said it, where they could be losing $200 on an Xbox that's sold. It was on the article that I covered on Monday. So now they're making sure that don't happen. But Sony and Nintendo are in a different situation. Yes, they may have price increases, but the thing is that they had a longer runway. They were better prepared, and they buy bigger orders, so they maybe don't have as much and as frequently as Xbox had. They spent themselves out of business outside gaming night. That's the truth. And that's the problem. Maybe if they didn't go spend $80 billion in publishers, maybe they could have kind of balanced themselves out, but they spent too much. And now in the time of them trying to make money back, they can't, because the hardware is losing the money. The software is not selling. You know, Forza came out the month. It didn't move their hardware. So, like, it really is dire for them. And I know you don't want to say, not to be negative, Compo says, but we're heading for some bad times. Yeah, it's going to be bad. You know, and then Sony laying off Bungie Studios, like, you know, that's it's going to get bad. Like, the light at the end of the tunnel is the great games that we have. Like, it's so sad that we're having such a year of great games that the industry is just, like, crumbling underneath it. You know? It is pretty crazy. Like, you would think, like, in a year, like, we'll be suffering with not a lot of great games. But we had great games last year, and we have great games this year. But the industry itself is crumbling. You know, with just the hardware and you know, the Steam machine, that could have been a real revolutionary device, like getting another component in there, competing with a PlayStation and an Xbox at a $400-$500 price point, and PlayStation coming in with their exclusives of $500-$600. Xbox trying to bring people back with Gears. Like, it would be such a different. Like, if we were in a traditional console environment, it would be a race to the bottom of who could get as many consoles in people's houses with these incredible games. And here comes the Steam machine, a newcomer in here. Like, this would have been really competitive and really dynamic. But instead, these things are like nothing. Like, they're just, all we got. The good thing is the games. That's it. Like, the hardware, if you're looking at hardware now, it is horror show. It is just like, you know, I can't believe that I got that. I got a second Pro. I traded in my PlayStation 5 when they just increased the price to the Pro to $650. I got one more. I was like, let me get that. Well, when they were $750, I grabbed one more Pro. I was like, let me trade this in for a Pro, so I'll have two Pros because these prices were going up on the Pro. So before they increased it to $750, the first price increase to the Pro, I got a second one, which I don't even use that much, but I have it on my OLED TV just to have it, like just to have one there rather than an old PlayStation 5 from 2020, the big one. Now I got one more big PlayStation 5 and I got two Pros. But like I was like, I just did it just because of the price change. I was like, well, let me trade this in. They were doing like a $400 price trade in, $300 for the old PS5. And I saw the PS5 Pro was going to $750. I was like, well, let me grab this PS5 Pro before the price goes up $50. And I snagged another one. And yeah, it gets use, but that's not my primary one to play on. That's like kind of the family one. Everybody just plays on that one, that TV. But it doesn't get that much use on it anyway, because the Switch is on that TV too. So, but like my main one's down here. Like that's the thing. So like but I just did it because of the price. I wasn't interested. I was like, I don't need another Pro. You know what I mean? But I was like, might as well do it because then when the 6 comes out, I think a Pro will hold. And that's the other thing you got to think too. Here's a little grinders. Here's a little consumerism for you because I always look out for you guys. Hit that like button. The thing is let me tell you something. What is good for those that already have the hardware is that the hardware that you have is actually appreciating rather than depreciating. So, hear me out. If a PS6 comes out and it is $1,200, the thing is that your Pro, with the price increase, is gaining value sitting as you're playing it. You're actually gaining value on your hardware that when you go trade, if you go trade it in, it will trade in for probably maybe equivalent to what you paid for it, or you may make money on it. So for those that actually have hardware, your hardware is gaining value. What's crazy, I looked up my laptop that I bought last year, and it is worth double the price than I paid for it. So for all of us that actually bought the stuff, when we're ready to make a move, the stuff that we have is gaining value. Traditionally, stuff that you buy depreciates. Oh, shit, that's 5 years old. Oh, yeah, man. I'll give you $100, GameStop credit. But with these price increases, if you have a Pro, or you have a PlayStation 5, or even if you have an Xbox, shit, Xbox trade-ins were ass. Guess what? Now with these price increases, your Xbox trade-in may be worth something. So for those that already have hardware, we're sitting pretty now because guess what? Those prices increase whenever we're ready to make a move. We got gold here. That Pro sitting here that I've been playing on for the last 2 years in $900 in the market out there. My used price could probably be equivalent or more than what I paid for it 2 years ago because the market value is higher. So just putting it out there, people will look at a high price like, oh my God, that's a expensive $1,000 console. But guess what? If these console prices hold up like this, a trade, your trade may have more value rather than depreciating. Man Joe says, in Canada, trade-in is not good. The Pro at launch is still $900 with the PS. Oh, man, that's crazy. That's some robbery. But, yeah, I know your country may vary. But I'm just saying that maybe that what we have is appreciating in price. Like the laptops I bought last year, the memory that I bought last year, all the stuff that I bought in the past 2 years, I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, like I could probably go on eBay and maybe get my money back for this thing or make money on it, even though it's used, because the prices are so crazy. So if you do have the hardware, it's not too bad. it could be something that may benefit us if we ever want to make a move. But that's only just a random thought on that stuff, because it could be something that it will, pawn shops or eBay. You know what I mean? There was what did I sell? I just sold something, and it basically sold for the price I bought it for. What the hell did I just sell? I forgot what it was. Was it the rock? Was it my handheld? Yes, it was. That's what it was. It was the MSI Claw. My MSI Claw I sold for $1,000 that I paid $1,000 for it at the end of last year, because I got the Steam Deck one. I got the Lenovo Steam Deck, and I was done with Windows. I put that Xbox update on there, and it was ass. And I said, I'm done with this MSI Claw. It was a good machine, but that Windows sucked on it. And then when I played the Steam Deck, a Steam OS on the Legion, the Go S1, Z1 chip Extreme, that's my go-to handheld PC. And then I got my Steam Deck thing, and then I got the Portal. But yeah, I sold it, and because the tariffs and stuff, my MSI Claw sold for the amount, and it was hard to find too. So it actually sold I sold how much I paid for it. Yeah, because I thought it was in the last year. So it's a thought. If you have stuff, what is that? Compost says pawn shops. Sorry for spamming chat. That's all right, Compost. That's all right. You're passionate. He goes, because I know what's happening in Xbox is just the first wave. People are rejecting these games just like Hollywood Slop. What games? No way to trade in consoles. Most GPU makers are done with PC nerds. AI investments are in for them now, but with the edge of another collapse. Yeah, that's it. I don't know, but it's not going to be pretty. And if the secondhand market will boom. Exactly, Silverwolf. Like that's my whole thing. If you have the stuff, you could use it to your leverage if you ever want to make a move. But I would say don't do anything. Hold on to what you have, and you know what? Take a breath. And that's why I said I kind of don't even read into the PlayStation 6 articles or the Helix articles. Helix is being you want to know what? I think it's time for us just to kind of take a breath, not worry about what's coming next, and just appreciate what we have. That's really, it sounds kind of cliche. It sounds kind of not as exciting. But I think at least with the hardware part, I think we just got to sit back, and if you got it, just look at it, take a deep breath, and just enjoy it, and not worry about what's coming next. And let this internet leakers and chip manufacturers, let them scrounge around and fight for how they're going to present it to us. But as a consumer, if you're sitting there with a console, whether it's an Xbox or a PlayStation or a Switch or even a PC, just sit there and look at it and just breathe in and just say, at least we're getting some great content for our investment. Because that's the whole point, right? The whole point is that we bought these consoles, we bought this hardware as an investment, and the investment is the games. And as long as the games are great and coming out for it, you're getting your investment back. Yes, the prices may be increasing, the world may be melting down around you, but we got great games, and we got GTA 6 and Wolverines and Gears E-Day and whatever you want for the rest of this year, and God of War coming next year or maybe soon, who knows? Like, they're still making content, because that's the scary part. That's the part that worries me. If you want to talk about collapse, the collapse that concerns me, the hardware, let them figure that shit out. But the thing that concerns me is the software studios and the IP that is gonna, that if the studios get closed and games get canceled, that's where the meltdown outside in the industry affects us. That's the scary part for me, is when you see a studio just get shut down and that IP get lost, because now that's the content to our investment. That's where I that bothers me. But for these, like, oh, it's gonna have this much RAM and this chip manufacturer, oh, that'll cost them this much to make the hardware. Let them all sort that shit out. Let AMD jerk around because they got to worry about them. NVIDIA, let them all fight that shit out and wait to sell me a product. I'm not worried about that hardware stuff. Let them figure that out. It's the software stuff that's where the shit hits the fan. That's because that's the content to the stuff that we own. But we're getting great games. So, like, that's the only thing I could say, like, leave it on a high note in the sense that, we've been having great games. There's more great games to come. And, GTA 6 is definitely gonna be a light that really just, hopefully, just kind of like erase. I don't know. I don't think it's going to erase the issues that are going on with hardware, but I think people are going to just go crazy to buy this game. And there's going to be, I think, a quote artificial bump in the sense of like, oh, the console, everything's back and everybody's going to go crazy, but it's really going to be the GTA bump. But, you're right, Compost. And one of the other things, too, is like, it kind of sucks that GTA kept delaying itself because it was supposed to come out in May. We were supposed to be playing GTA 6 already. And then we were supposed to play GTA 6 last year. It kind of sucks that GTA kind of kept putting themselves and put them at like the highest point of hell for hardware manufacturing. It kind of sucks that after all these years, and I can't imagine 2K and Rockstar are loving these price increases that are coming for their hardware where they just said, yo, we just bet on 2 consoles and their prices are, that's why I think the PlayStation marketing is essential to them, the GTA 6. I think that is essential to them because the thing is like, that is the biggest install base they have for potential sales. Like that Xbox install base is not going to, you're looking at maybe 1/3 of the PlayStation possible 100 million consoles out there. And for GTA, like we got to make our money back. We got to focus on getting every 100 million of those PlayStations to buy GTA 6. Yes, we could do the Xbox ones, but like that install base, it's something, but it's not, to make our money back, we got to focus on the 100 million. Because Xbox not going to grow a whole bunch of consoles in the next 4 months. So whatever that console is, 35 million, yeah, it's important. Every console matters, I'm sure, to Take-Two, but they got to be looking at this going, holy crap. We delayed this thing into a shitstorm. It's like, we said, hold off. Let's not have the party yet. Let's wait. We're going to move the party to Tuesday. Move the party to Thursday. And a friggin' tornado shows up. It's like, oh, shit, we just had the party on Tuesday. We just did a party on Thursday in the middle of a friggin' typhoon. And that's what GTA did. They moved GTA into like the heighten of hell for hardware. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But all I know is that Xbox chose a hell of a time to increase their prices or to announce it. And the bloodbath is coming. And I am sure Sony will have their price increase maybe. Hope if they hold out. I think, one thing that I saw, if Sony could hold out their price increase to after GTA, that will be huge for them because Xbox will be increasing their price, but I don't know. I don't know if Sony could wave at a storm anymore. But I hope the next video we don't make about hardware is having PlayStation Pro at $1,000. But it could happen. It could happen. I'll just hit you this clip. I'm going to cover these last 2 points here. This was Rand talking about the hardware.
1200, but then you hear the comments from Matthew Ball and Asha talking about how important console is to them and all those sort of things and how they want it to be strong and stuff. And it's like, at those prices, it's anything but strong. And especially if you're just coming off a month where it was the worst ever. And now it's going to be even more expensive. So you're going to get even more months of the worst ever. And those headlines are going to start trickling out. And I don't know if like regular people are going to see them, but you're going to have reports.
Oh, they will.
constantly just referencing it's the worst month of Xbox hardware in history. It's another month of the worst hardware in Xbox history. Hey, guess what, guys? This month was another October was the worst month in Xbox history. Oh, guess what? January was you're just gonna have consistently just negative reporting about your hardware because you've priced it at a point that you've run out of people to sell it to, and it's not like the next piece of hardware that's coming from you is going to be any cheaper. So, Jazz, what's the future here? What is it? Sometimes I just think, like, are they just gonna...
I don't even know.
You don't even know. But yeah, you don't think that the worst ever is going to be there. Well, listen, the worst ever is going to be there. Like, it is the worst ever Xbox sales that happened. PlayStation's at its lowest. You know, but Xbox had the worst in history. And what's crazy is, Asha,
How about those exclusives?
I told you, I've said this so many times before. Asha doesn't know. Her and Matt Ball talking about, oh, bring Xbox back and we're going to make consoles better again. And how about them exclusives and stuff? It's like, you guys are talking in La La Land. In the same breath, you're also saying that, well, barriers of consoles and they're so expensive to make and we can't make them anymore. Then how's console important if it's your Achilles heel? They don't know. She don't know. She doesn't know. That's why it was all just wordsmithing. It was all just talk. How about them exclusives? Were you meaning to sell knowing that the price of consoles were going to go increase? You knew. How about them exclusives? I guess there's no bundle for Gears then. And then this is the other thing, and this I wanted to bring this up as a final tidbit here. Remember when I said the focus for Asha is selling games? Her job is to make the money, either to spin them off, to separate them, or to make money back for Xbox. This is what it is. Ready? And I said, her job is to migrate whoever's left on the console to get them off of that thing that's making them lose money and get them on the lifeboat of Windows. Even Shuei was that said, the Xbox future is going to be the Xbox app. And the focus would be on Play Anywhere. And this report was interesting here. And again, rumors again. But it's interesting because it kind of falls in line with the whole thing of like the focus of not Game Pass. Because Game Pass, day one, hurts them. And I think it's just a matter of time before they just say, we're done with day one. But Microsoft's faucet is closing. Multiple independent developers have confirmed that the B2B first playable trade show in Italy that Xbox has completely frozen the signing of new deals for Game Pass. The commercial paralysis on the subscription platform exposes immediate change of course. Offers that are already in negotiation phases to include certain games in Game Pass have been abruptly pulled by the company. Contracts with third-party companies are totally on hold, and developers point to a new leadership having ordered this blockade while it reorganizes its entire business strategy. The Game Pass model, based on injecting millions of dollars to secure day one launches from external studios, is under total review. With the new top brass reigning in spending, independent studios lose their biggest financial safety net, and Xbox confirms that the era of unchecked expansion is over. So, it falls in line to what I was predicting in the sense of Game Pass day one is not the appeal for Asha because that does not draw people into the ecosystem. Play Anywhere is more powerful in the sense of you get a copy here and you get a copy there. And I can migrate you there. With Game Pass, you don't have ownership. So the migration, the investment is not really there to migrate you to another device. It gets you to play more games, but that's not what Asha wants you to do because that don't make more money. Asha wants you to buy those games. And then Asha wants you to move those games. And that buying power makes you move to PC when she says, guys, play anywhere, really meant play on PC. And that's the third foot. You want to know, we already saw the second foot for her next 100 days. The third foot, the third 100 days, the next 100 days, that's going to be it. So for the next 100 days, she's going to gut the business. This is what I had, my Grindhouse prediction of Asha. The first 100 days was Glaze Fest. She glazed them all up for the 25th anniversary, said, how about them exclusives, and sent them away and teased the hell out of them and basically made them eat out of her hand. Now she's screwing them all in the next 100 days where she's going to gut the business. She's going to slaughter studios. She's going to shut down games, cancel, gut everything, and demoralize everything that she built in the first 100 days. But the point that she's going to make in the next 100 days is that she is going to then drop the third foot, and the third foot is going to be your library on PC. And we're sunsetting this because Play Anywhere really is play on PC, because the anywhere part of playing on console will slowly go away. They already sunsetted one Xbox. We are one Xbox wire post away from sunsetting all of it. Thank you, Old Man Guru. Yeah. And thank you, Compost. Yeah. I said Play Anywhere is the game, not Game Pass. I was very surprised that their show had so many Game Pass announcements, but I think that's just to satisfy the love fest of glazing was still on. But I think in the next 100 days, that love fest is over. She hasn't posted anymore. It's like she completely turned on them. She completely turned on them. She's not talking, hear you, engaging. She didn't say anything. She said, we got to gut the business. And that was her last post. But paying money to indie devs and get day one games, they're out of that business. They're not paying that money because it doesn't grow Game Pass. Game Pass is not growing. But what we'll do is them leeching off of Windows. There's 100 million. That's why she said Windows is most important, is because Windows is where she's taking them all. And that's the third foot. After she guts the business, the third 100 days is her Project Helix and her talking about new hardware from OEMs, the Xbox Project Helix program, and the Xbox app on PC. And guess what? If you're a dev and they say, hey, Xbox Play Anywhere, say you're making Resident Evil 11, right? And they go Capcom, go, oh, please support Play Anywhere. And Capcom's like, I'm not giving away 2 copies. They're like, but wait a second, Capcom, let me tell you something. You're really not giving away 2 copies. Well, what do you mean, Asha? Because we fixed one of those items. What do you mean, Asha? The Xbox console, we're sunsetting it. So you're really just making the Windows version of it. So while it's Play Anywhere for those that remain, we're not going to be growing that install base anymore. So you're just going to use it as a bridge to bring it over. So you're really just selling the PC version. Oh. So this is not so, because like for a developer, they make, well, wait a second. That means like my future, if you're growing your Xbox and you're growing your Windows, that means I'm giving away 2 copies on 2 platforms. It's like, yeah, but we're getting rid of one of those platforms. So really, you may have to bite the bullet for about a month, so for a year or 2, and then we're slowly sunsetting that whole thing. So Play Anywhere really is just get the Windows version of the game. And those that bought it will just honoring their library. What? Really? And the other alternative is that you make an Xbox version, and then we're just going to come to you and ask if we could have that emulated or ported over in our preservation program to there. So by doing Play Anywhere, you're already doing the preservation program. You're basically creating that bridge so we can migrate those console guys over to PC. Or you become part of the preservation program where we just come to you later and we ask you if we could emulate your game and bring it over to PC anyway. So by doing Play Anywhere, you basically are ahead of the game. Oh, so that's what Play Anywhere means. Yeah. And that's exactly the sales pitch. Play Anywhere is the bridge to get them all to move to PC. All those glazing green, the Xbox is back and all that other stuff. Like I told you, the Xbox they believe is back. It's not. It's sunsetted. Helix, Windows PC gaming, Xbox app on PC is the console that she's speaking about. And Play Anywhere is the bridge and not Game Pass. Game Pass has no leverage. It gets you in the door. Maybe it hooks a few people, but they're not going to spend money to drive people into that thing. And she'll find out the hard way. This whole Game Pass thing will change right after Gia's E-Day shows that Game Pass cannibalized the sales on their platform. And her console did not move. We just saw that with Forza Horizon. And yes, man, Joe, exactly. There were the 2027 CMA leak, yeah. Where they said if Game Pass is not at a certain millions of subscribers by 2007, we're done. They're not. What's up, Mage? How you doing? Major Clarge in the house. But yeah, so while Game Pass is there, it doesn't look like they're spending more money to drive third-party indies or anything like that to get day one games in there. They're not focused on indie games. Hence why this bloodbath is going to be all those little indie studios they bought to feed Game Pass. They're the ones that are cooked. She just wants Fallout, Call of Duty, and Halo. That's all she wants. She wants the big ones. She don't want these little passion projects killing and all. No, they don't do anything. Microsoft bought them as Game Pass filler. They don't want them. So, they don't make money. Asha's in the business of making money. And they're losing money hand over fist. So her next 100 days is going to be a bloodbath. And at the end of that bloodbath, she already has a price increase. So, 5 floors of Xbox catering and handing out free Xboxes really was a facade to what the hell that they're bringing. Because it makes no sense. It's like, why would you make the game exclusive and lose potential sales on 100 million consoles of PlayStation for years? And then why would you bring back FanFest and pay for all that food and all that stuff? I guess it's a tax write-off. But why would you do all that stuff and then come back and complain about the money? You're not making money on the console. But that's the next thing. Destin says, I predict the Game Pass price increase. That's the next thing. They'll wean people off of that one. But they already took Gears out of it. I think they slowly start taking games out of it. But Gears is getting sent out to die. I covered that on Monday's show. But Grinders, I want to thank everybody for coming through on this emergency podcast. Late night, burning the midnight oil with the Gaming Grindhouse. And this is just a taste of what we're going to do on the Gaming Grindhouse on Monday night. But also, a member show will be coming your way. So if I could do one tomorrow, I'll see. But it's definitely coming within this week. So if you don't have a VIP membership yet, go get one. It's only $5, and you'll come to the balcony show where we'll have some fun. So that VIP show will be coming your way this week. And definitely share this out. Let them know that we went live tonight, this evening. And thank you for entering the Grindhouse on this emergency Gaming Grindhouse podcast on a Saturday night at the midnight hour. Good night, everybody. Thank you again.
Matt Ball, all bark, big mouth, small mark, talk Xbox like a king, then trip on his own thing. Booty in his focus, head full of bogus. Not a smart man, that's plain. Missed the point, take the blame. He keep talking big, but the facts don't bend. Say it loud, say it proud, still ain't making sense. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Matt keep digging. He's sliding loud, no playing, hands on hips. Not a man watching curves, missing signs, reading jokes like warning lines. He want clout, want smoke, but he choke on his own joke. Every flex come off wrong, every win don't last long. He keep talking big, but the facts don't bend. Say it loud, say it proud, still ain't making sense. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Keep digging, keep digging. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is doomed. Keep digging. Look at the grin, look at the mess. Whole room knows he's second best. One more shout, one more flop. When the joke lands, he can't stop.